I want y'all to hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit those notifications as well so that you're able to get all of my content and as well as all of my videos. LDBC, basketball and boxing, salute. You know how I'm rocking. And salute to all the people that rock with me. And if you don't, hey, we just going to continue to do damage whether you like it or not, okay? If you like to donate to the channel, my cash app is $ straight to the point, 77. Okay. And I want to give a special shout out to the new subs that have came aboard to support your family. Uh, Straight to the point. Okay. Appreciate y'all coming aboard and everything. And if you're new here, you could go ahead and you can sub to the channel. Okay. Definitely gonna be consistent as I possibly can. Okay. Now, I'll give a shout out to all of the people that have talked about this subject right here. Um, I'm a little late on it because we've been paying attention to, the dynamics of not only college football, but as well as pro football, the NFL too. But I'm gonna make a pit stop on the NBA real quick. Okay. Now, here's the thing that people got to understand. Okay. This is what I want people to understand, and I want to make this abundantly clear. Ever since Giannis has came into his own, even before he came into his own, Giannis has always owned LeBron defensively. And a lot of people don't understand this either. He's not only owned him defensively, he's owned him in the clutch too as well, in clutch situations. A lot of people want to know why LeBron has ducked Giannis for so many games. This is the reason why. Okay? A lot of y'all want to know why I have Giannis as my favorite player besides Russell Westbrook. Um, this is the reason why. Well, one of the reasons why. But the totality of Giannis playing defensively, that's why I have him at the top. Now, look, has Giannis and the team and the Milwaukee Bucks, they've been struggling? Yeah. It happens. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't take away from what Giannis can do on both ends of the floor. He has consistently owned LeBron. I'm not surprised by LeBron, um, falling short in the pressure situation because with that block that Giannis had, and also, the poke from behind, getting that key steal at the end, those are situations in which Giannis has done over the course of his career. I don't know why people are so shocked by it. Everybody just thinks, oh, it's hitting a bucket down the stretch, or making a dynamic shot down the stretch, or even getting a key dunk down the stretch. No, a lot of times it's key defensive plays. That's why when I talk to, my brother, Cyber TV, he wonders, why do you have Dennis Rodman? Dennis Rodman didn't have no bearing on the game, when I always talk about 96 against the Sonics. Yes, he did, because he had a bearing on the game defensively. Okay, whoever's in here, I appreciate you being in here in the bushes, whatever the case is. But please, I would ask that y'all go ahead and hit the like, okay? It doesn't cost any money. We're not gonna, come to your house and apprehend you or no shit like that, okay? But please hit the like when you come in here, okay? Now, this is the thing. Everybody gets so offended. They get so offended when you say that LeBron uh, does not thrive under pressure situations. Okay, we could go back to 2016. That block that he had and all that, which it was a tremendous block. Okay, it was a tremendous block, but chase down blocks has been something that that's just a piece of the arsenal of what Giannis has. Okay, Giannis can shut you down defensively in a multitude of ways. It's not just doing chase down block, and that doesn't make you a great defender just doing a chase down block, especially if it comes off of a turnover. Because that's what apparently had took place in 2016. A lot of people don't know that. He had turned the ball over and then he chased the ball down, which sometimes you get into a foot race. Going back and forth, the game could be a little sloppy and everything. But in in saying all of this, Giannis has always owned LeBron. He has always owned him in pressure situations, and you've seen this. I don't know why people are so surprised. Now, did did LeBron get that steal? Yeah, he got a steal. He got a steal, but when it was when it was his time to capitalize and do everything that everybody says, and everybody says that he's the GOAT and all this other stuff or whatever, he fell short once again. And he's 41 years old, and people can't expect him at this age to be a type of savior. You know what I'm saying? Much less when he was even younger than that. He wasn't always the savior. You know what I'm saying? It was always pretty much somebody else. Was there times when he did hit some clutch shots every now and again? Yeah, but time and time again, he's always came up short. Or then time and time again, there's been somebody else that has been there. And then on time and time again, everybody wants to sit up here and make excuses for him making the right basketball play. Okay, look, the fact is that Giannis defensively has owned LeBron. It's not no surprise. Giannis has owned a lot of people defensively. If we really want to go there, but nobody wants to talk about that. We know that the Bucks are struggling. I don't see the Bucks going anywhere. Not as far as championship wise. Now they're probably going to make the playoffs, and if they you know if they make some trades uh, and make some moves, maybe they could go on a run here and there in terms of the East. But I don't see that necessarily taking place. But I wanted to talk about this because a lot of people tend to think that this is something new, or if you go back and you go look at highlights, you go on YouTube, you look at images, things of that nature, you'll see constantly how Giannis, anytime that LeBron goes up to the rim or something like that, you see that Giannis is already there, meeting him there, or you know what I'm saying, he's staying in front of him. I don't, and I don't think that Giannis's defense is. I mean, you're talking about a DPOY winner. Okay, you're talking about Giannis. I think at one point he did lead. He led the league in blocks. If I'm not mistaken, there was one point when he did lead the league in blocks. Now I don't know if he won. I don't know if he won it. He may have had the crown, but he's always been in that top five in terms of blocks. You know what I'm saying? Especially when when um, when he was winning defensive player of the year and MVP and all that jazz. But this isn't anything new. This isn't anything new. And people still need to wake up. Giannis is still thrived on the defensive end. Now, a lot of people don't know that that's why I have Giannis as my favorite player. It's not just because of his offense. It's because of his defense. That's why, like, whenever somebody wants to sit here and they want to have a back and forth, or they want to constantly, you know, say that Giannis is not good offensively and all this other stuff. I don't really get offended by that. Talking about that Giannis, you need to set up a wall for him, or all he does is run people over and all this other stuff. Well, that really doesn't offend me. That has no bearing on how I feel about him as a player. You know why? Because he could do so many other things in which he's not appreciated for. So all I got to say is just keep on talking about Giannis. I tell you this though, he hasn't ducked no smoke from LeBron. Somehow, some way, he shows up. Somehow, some way, he's still out there on the floor. Still trying to be the leader that he can. Look, Giannis, could he be a better leader? Yeah, he could. But I'm speaking in terms of vocally. Now, when we talk about leading by example, yes, he's there. You said Giannis is top five. Hell, I mean top five. I mean, he's top five. Now, um, when we talk about his health, Giannis has been injury prone. Okay, Stephen. Salute to Stephen Green. Make sure you go sub to his channel too. Please hit the like when you come in here too. Uh, you said Giannis played more games than LeBron. Uh, are you talking about now? When you say more games, are you talking about when they're playing against each other? Because appreciate the light, y'all. Now, are you? And be sure to share the video too as well. I don't know what they're doing. They're trying to condense me, but that's how we keep on grinding. Now, are you talking about when they're playing against each other? If you're talking about them playing against each other, then yeah, then I'll give you that. That's the same. Yeah, yeah, and that's the same thing with Jokic, and Embiid. That's why, like, I don't have Embiid over Jokic. I don't have Embiid over Jokic. Now, if if Embiid can play 60 plus games consistently, get more than one regular season MVP, get a NBA championship as well as a Finals MVP, and even to take it a step further, get a Defensive Player of the Year award, which I knew he was capable of doing. Then we could be having that conversation. Because if we're talking about talent wise, Stephen, if we're talking about talent wise, in terms of natural God given ability, I'm talking about like just prettier game, okay, and more enjoyable to watch. Embiid is head and shoulders above Jokic. But the reason why I have Jokic above Embiid is because Jokic, this is his first time really getting hurt. This is Embiid. I mean, Jokic's first time really getting hurt. You haven't seen Embiid get hurt. I mean, Jokic get hurt like that, Stephen. You haven't seen him get hurt like that. You rarely see him get hurt. This is the first time Jokic has been hurt. And as much as I like Jamal Murray, who I'm gonna talk about in just a second, you said LeBron has more popular stats. I mean, he's played 20 plus seasons. But the thing about it is, the thing that we have to understand is Giannis has stayed loyal to the soil. LeBron ain't really been loyal to the soil. Now, has he took some LeBron approach? Yeah, he has, and I'm not talking about playing wise, but I'm talking about from a personnel standpoint. That shit that LeBron did, I mean, Giannis did to Drew Holiday. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was mad at Giannis. You said people talk about LeBron more. Well, that's because they're casual. A lot of them are casuals. A lot of them are casuals. LeBron has always played, with the exception of Cleveland. He's always played in a big market. Miami is a big market, believe it or not. LA is a big market, believe it or not. Cleveland, I got to give LeBron credit. He made it a big market. And then after he left, then we saw what happened. But as far as I have Giannis, I have Giannis in terms of what he does, in terms of what he brings to the table, his knack, his will, and him being able to play both ends of the floor. That's why I have Giannis above LeBron, just in my opinion. In my opinion, now if we're talking about like records and accolades and all this other stuff or whatever, of course, a casual and a person that really doesn't play, pay attention to the game of basketball, of course they're going to choose. They're going to choose LeBron. But the casuals are always going to talk about LeBron. I mean, he's in the top 10, damn near. I think the top five. I think Messi or Ronaldo was number one in terms of who people look for and Google or look for on social media. And then LeBron is up there, and then there's a couple of other people up there. So there's always somebody that's always looking up something in terms of LeBron and everything. But those are people that are casual. It's just like a lot of people, they like Michael Jordan, and they don't even know the reason why they like Michael Jordan. They just like Michael Jordan because they got a pair of his shoes, and they probably got curious. Oh, well, why is everybody wearing Jordans? But they're wearing Jordans because everybody else is wearing Jordans. They might not be wearing Jordans for the same reason that me or you wore them, Stephen, because we actually watched Michael Jordan play. We actually witnessed Michael Jordan do some of the things that he did. You know, and to be honest with you, there's only maybe a couple of pair of Jordan sneakers that I really like. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that I liked the best was the Jordan ones, because they were the Air Force sneakers. You know, so but like I said, those are just casuals, and it's just like when I step on here, a lot of people they don't want to have a heart to heart about you know basketball. They want to talk about they want you to sway you. They want to try to sway you into to their opinion or to what they think is right. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a couple people on here that they done got mad and they don't really come to the channel as much no more because you've been right about what you've been saying and stuff. I know who you are, but I'm not gonna call out your name. But when you have like a little verbal jujitsu with those guys, then they get mad and they be like, oh well, you know what? I don't want to come to his channel no more. Listen, it's nothing personal. It's just a fact. And people get mad and they get in their feelings. They want to take personal shots and stuff like that. If you want to do that, that's fine. Oh, but over a basketball opinion, and they do that to some of the other brothers in the LDBC, and I never really understood it. This LeBron talk, I never really take it personal. It's a lot of guys on here that make it personal. It's his fan base that makes it personal, and then there's some guys that they claim they're not LeBron fans, but the minute you critique LeBron or you say something about LeBron, well, why are you talking about him like that? But wait a minute, I thought you weren't a LeBron fan, but you defended him as if he was your favorite player or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And LeBron's not the only one that gets to smoke around here. And like I said before, I'm not going to spend 24/7, 365 every hour on the clock uh, critiquing LeBron. That doesn't I don't know, that doesn't move me. That doesn't satisfy me. or anything. So, but like I said, man, salute to Giannis, man. The block, it's really nothing surprising. Giannis loves to, um, meet somebody at the rim. You know, it used to be a time when Zion was into doing that. Meeting somebody at the rim and stuff like that. But he's shown the capabilities time and time again that he can't be depended upon. He can't be relied upon. In terms of him being healthy, he's more worried about OnlyFans models and stuff like that, and all this baby mama drama and stuff like that, getting females pregnant and stuff like that. Which I mean, if that's what you choose to do, that's fine. But dang, can you get back and stay focused? That's what I want to know. So, like I said, this isn't anything surprising. I don't know why people continue to think that you know LeBron was going to actually step in there at 41 years old and succeed against uh, a perennial All Star, a perennial a perennial All NBA, an MVP both in the finals and regular season. I don't know why people think that that LeBron was going to succeed. You know what I'm saying? And then they thought that he was still going to be, the savior, some sort of savior, once Luca went out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people are begging to trade him. This team has went downhill. They lost to a Milwaukee Bucks team who has been struggling. And listen, I'm actually glad that this was put on display when Luca had fouled out. I was glad that it was put on display because now you get to see, okay, LeBron wants control of the team. LeBron wants to do everything himself. LeBron wants to, be about his stats and still be at 41 years old and still think that he can do this and do that. Go ahead. Here you go. Here you go. He's supposed to be this dynamic team player and all this other stuff. Go ahead. Here you go. Here you go. And Luca, him fouling out and everything. I think that was a great thing to show of what's really truly taking place. The guys that are in the front office, I think they're sitting back and they're waiting, and they're gonna hit people with the okey doke with as far as doing whatever they need to do with LeBron. But for right now, they're stuck. They're stuck with him. I mean, look, you could bring whoever you want to over there to LA. To me, it's not gonna make any difference as long as you have him there. Okay, you could bring Dylan Brooks over there, in which I've heard the rumors about Dylan Brooks possibly coming over there. You could bring him over there. You could bring whoever over there. As long as you have LeBron over there, he's going to be a detriment to that franchise. You know, and everybody keeps bringing up his stats and all this other stuff. The important stat that we have to look at is that plus or minus, and we also got to look at the defensive. He's a defensive liability. Whereas if you put Marcus Smart on there, he's not a defensive liability. He's actually the defensive capability. You know what I'm saying? He brings the defensive capability, even at Marcus Smart's older age. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Smart is older too. I don't think people realize that now. He ain't LeBron older, but I would rather have Marcus Smart out there than have LeBron in there. Especially when we talk about per 100 possession. You know what I'm saying? So hold on one second. Now let's get to this next subject that I'm gonna talk about now. Um, John Morant, man, is on the trading block, and here's my thing about John Morant. John Morant still has a lot of potential, whatever. Now he's injury prone too. John Morant is injury prone too. Okay. Um, does John Morant is John Morant going to benefit another team? There's four teams, uh, from my recollection, that are interested in him. But the ones that people are mainly looking at are the Brooklyn Nets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves is a very slept on place in which John Morant could be at, especially when you consider Ant Man over there. Can you imagine Ant Man and John Morant in the backcourt? Look. People can say what they want, you know what I'm saying, about John Morant. You know what I'm saying? This dude still got potential. He's just not happy. And when you're not happy in a place, you know what I'm saying, your play is going to show that. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even talk about John Morant in the same breath like they once used to before all the, let's just call it what it is, before the trouble off the court. And then when they fired Taylor Jenkins, I think that right there was just so wrong. They fired Taylor Jenkins when they were winning, much like they did Adrian Griffin with the Bucks, and I couldn't understand that. And if it truth be told, John Morant is really not the sole problem of what's going on with the Memphis Grizzlies. First off, they got rid of a lot of their guys, their glue guys, those guys that were defensive. They got rid of Bane, who could play offense and defense. I like Bane. You know what I'm saying? A little dirty sometimes, but he ain't as dirty as my guy Dylan Brooks. They got rid of Dylan Brooks, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Who I would like to have Dylan Brooks. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with some of the stuff that he does, but he's still, nevertheless, he's having a career year over there with Phoenix. Okay, you know, you drafted Zach Edey. You drafted Zach Edey with the intent of him moving the franchise forward. Well, he has been nothing but a failure because Zach Edey stays hurt. I mean, he was hurt when he first got in there. My point is you keep pinning all this on Ja Morant, and it's not his fault. It's not all his fault. Everybody wants to look at, oh yeah, he's the mark man, he's on the trading block and all this other stuff. The relationship was never gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? Especially once they got rid of Taylor Jenkins, the relationship wasn't gonna be good because, yeah, did they have their disagreements? Yeah, John Morant and Taylor Jenkins. Hold on one second, yeah. But the relationship was never gonna be good once they got rid of him. It was never gonna be good. And listen, man, they make a big deal about this situation in terms of not John Morant getting in trouble with the guns and all that other stuff. Man, look, bro. To me, really, that's not as big of a deal as if we're gonna talk about some of the other stuff that's going on. Like this whole Chauncey Billups situation and Damon Jones situation and um, what's it called, Terry Rozier situation. Shit, that's way worse. That's way worse. John Morant, flashing guns on the that's excuse my French when I say this shit, but that's young nigga shit. Now, do I have a problem with what John Morant did? Yeah, when you show it. But if we're talking about like, okay, yeah, him showing guns or something like that, you know what I'm saying, and he's in private or something like that, okay, yeah, that's what you choose to do. Everybody got their vices and fetishes and all that other stuff, and plus he a grown man, he can do what he wants to do. Look, he takes care of his daughter, his kids, you know what I'm saying? As long as he's doing that, he good in my book. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to sit up here and criticize him because of how he acted um, with the coaching staff or something like that. Look, I look at it like this: he was telling the truth. That's a question that you'll have to ask the coaching staff. He didn't curse at the media. He didn't yell at them. He didn't say nothing derogatory or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? He was straight up. I mean, what do you want? What do you really want him to do? Look, that situation came to a screeching halt, and plus, there's a lot more other stuff that's going on in the locker room too as well. You know what I'm saying? He probably frustrated with the fact that Zach Edey, you brought him in here, man. He was supposed to. We supposed to have a duo going, a trio going with him, JJJ, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, and it hasn't worked out. So I don't put all this on John Morant. Maybe it is time for him to have a fresh start. You know what I'm saying? I wanted John Morant, and I'm gonna be real. I wanted him to bring a championship to the Memphis Grizzlies. I wanted him to. I wanted him to, man. But the fact of the matter is he's not happy there no more. You know what I'm saying? And the organization sees it. Um, John Morant knows, they've reached the crossroads, man. They know that it's time. It's come to the end, man. So like I said, bro, John Morant leaving. I I don't know where he's gonna be a good fit at. Brooklyn might be a good fit. I think everybody looking at Brooklyn. I think they're gonna be one step closer in terms of Brooklyn. Him and Michael Porter Jr. I think let's see how that will work out. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta. I think Atlanta is gonna go in a solid direction. I'm looking for Atlanta to see what they can do in terms of bringing AD there. Let's see what can happen with that. Um, let me see. Shit. Uh, Jamal Murray, man. Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has held things down for Denver. He's holding things down for Denver in uh, Jokic's absent. Um, Jamal Murray is underappreciated. This is the guy right here who does have the Mamba mentality. Okay. Do I see a lot of, and I know some people get mad at me when I say this, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about, how mad y'all get. It's just what I see. I do see a lot of Kobe Bryant in Jamal Murray. And people get mad when I say, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Da, da, da. It's a lot of Kobe Bryant in Jamal Murray. There is a lot of Kobe Bryant in Jamal Murray. Now, um, he done some things that, I mean, come on. This guy doesn't get credit for some of the stuff that he has done at the end of games. This guy is straight up clutch. How can we forget his clutch plays against the Lakers? How can we forget his clutch plays during the playoffs? How can we forget him stepping up when other guys aren't able to step up? How can we forget the big numbers that he's put up? And he has put up big numbers. Now, do I see Jamal Murray, even though he's listed even though he's listed as a point guard, I don't see Jamal Murray as a point guard. I see him more as a shooting guard. You know what I'm saying? It's just like with SGA. I don't see SGA as no point guard. I see him as a shooting guard. You know what I'm saying? And it's ironic because both of them guys are Canadians. You know what I'm saying? It's very ironic. But like I said, Jamal Murray is underappreciated. I think honestly, a lot of people feel that Jamal Murray, from what he's done, he should be the second man, or and a lot of well, he couldn't start over SG. I think that he should be on the All Star. There was one point when I felt like Jamal Murray could have been a starter in the All Star game, but I think it's a crying shame. He is going to be a Hall of Famer. Jamal Murray. He's going to be a Hall of Famer the way that he plays, because when it's all said and done, this guy does have a ring. The only thing that you could probably say about Jamal Murray is the fact that he got hurt, but he's bounced back. He hasn't made excuses. He's fulfilled his role. You know what I'm saying? He shut up. He ain't said nothing. You know what I'm saying? He ain't doing all that bickering, complaining, and stuff like that. Even even though there's people up in here saying that he needs to play second fiddle to Jokic and everything, which I really disagree with, because Jokic, for as good as he is, there's been some times when Jamal Murray, he had to take over, and let's just call it what it is. Jokic has deferred to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has taken that leadership role. I always think about, you got to think about, like, as far as defense. I always go back to defense. Jamal Murray can be depended upon defensively as opposed to Jokic can. So that's my whole thing. About Jamal Murray. I give him credit for taking over Jokic for Jokic in Jokic absent. Him and PJ Watson, with the absence too of I think I want to say uh, there's a couple of other people going to Gordon. Gordon not there. He's still able to step up. So he's he's really showing people that he's capable of leading the squad, because that's always been people's question. Oh yeah, once Jokic is gone, can Jamal Murray? Yes, he can. Everybody act like Jamal Murray isn't doesn't have superstar capability. So that's my whole thing about Jamal Murray. Um, this is the last thing I got to talk about. Okay, it's the last thing I got to talk about, and I got to be real about this. Isaiah Thomas, okay, was was on a podcast, okay, and he once again is doing a cap job, trying to hate on Jordan, okay, talking about Jordan as a GOAT. Look, and there's a lot of people that don't have Michael Jordan as a GOAT or whatever, but you keep consistently trying to put LeBron and elevate LeBron above Jordan, okay? And of course, that's his opinion, but we all know that that's bullshit. There's uh, lot of, a lot of hate coming from Isaiah. You know what I'm saying? And for those of y'all that don't know, I got Isaiah as my number one point guard of all time. Okay, but I gotta call him out because he's full of shit. Now he sat up there and he brought up records, and he's talking about Kareem with the records and all this other stuff. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute, Isaiah. Wait a minute. If we're gonna go records and you're talking about LeBron and you're talking about Kareem, where is Wilt? Because there's a lot of records that Wilt still holds that LeBron will never be able to get. So what I'm saying is that if you're gonna go by that logic in terms of records, if you're gonna talk about records and accomplishing records, and Jordan doesn't have this record and he doesn't have that record and stuff like that, well, damn, how come you didn't mention Wilt? Because the last time that I checked, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar doesn't have as many records as Wilt does. You know, and listen, I'm gonna say this again. Okay, you could get mad at Jordan all you want to. Don't be mad at Jordan. Be mad at people that are viewing the game. Be mad at the fans. They the ones that have picked Jordan as the overall go. Well, a lot of the people have chosen Jordan as the overall goat or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Now look, I've always had it, looked at basketball a little differently. I rank it by position. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't put an overall goat, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, oh yeah, this is the best player above everybody. No, we gotta go by position. You know what I'm saying? We gotta go, you gotta have a best power forward, you gotta have a best center, you gotta have a best shooting guard, you gotta have a best point guard, and you gotta have a best small forward. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I think it should be. Now, if we're talking about like, okay, overall player, favorite player to watch, gets you up out of the bed, you know what I'm saying, overall, and ain't nobody been able to uh yeah, move that player out of the way. Okay, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'll choose Jordan or whatever. But I still rank it by position. You know what I'm saying? A true basketball player, they look at things a little bit different. I have Jordan as the number one ranked shooting guard of all times. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not gonna go through, my list and everything. I've already said it time and time again. But to me, that's such a casual conversation because people just choose anybody. You know what I'm saying? They choose people out of popularity, and everybody knows damn well that LeBron should not be, number two. Because how you gonna skip Kobe? And I've always said that. You know, but like I said, that's everybody's goat debate and everything like that. The goat debate is not even fun anymore. It's not because a lot of people there's a lot of goalposts moving. You know what I'm saying? People want to sit up there and they want to try to have it, one way, but get mad because it's another way. It's a lot of that type of back and forth going on, which makes the goat debate so messed up. And then to have a guy like Isaiah Thomas come on here because you're angry still about something that happened well over 20 plus years ago. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You got to move on. Jordan has moved on. Okay. I think Jordan was salty a long time ago because you didn't shake hands and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Bill Laimbeer, we know damn well that he's just choosing LeBron as better than Jordan because he's mad. Because we know that Jordan used to destroy them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hell, you know what I'm saying? Look, Joe Dumars isn't mad. John Sally ain't mad. You know what I'm saying? Vinny Johnson ain't mad. Dennis Rodman ain't mad. You know what I'm saying? Why you mad? Straight to the point. Like, share, subscribe, hit them notifications as well. Shouts out to the whole entire LDBC basketball and boxing. Till then, man, I'm out.